All right, y'all. Two Peas and a Bong in the building again. It's your boy DP.
It's your boy KP.
And feeling good on this championship Sunday. It's your boy Bong. It was good.
Oh man, we've been talking about it for a minute. The past few weekends on the playoff situation. Today is Championship Sunday, as you said.
Mm.
So we'll just start with the first game, the NFC Championship game, man. Eagles and the Commanders. Takeaways from the game, y'all. What did y'all think about this one?
Philly is dominant, man. That run game, very impressive. Um, Jalen Hurts appears to look okay with his knee. Um, Passing, I know he had the brace on, but that didn't seem to stop him. Everything was clicking on all cylinders. When it looked like Washington was going to have a chance or looked like they had a chance, it was nullified with fumbles and turnovers, in which Philly did a great job of capitalizing off of those and scoring. So
You said when it looked like they had a chance at
at,
what
at
what
at
point did it really truly look like they did?
well, I'm going to tell you, it was a point in the third quarter where I was like, okay, it's an 11-point game, and Philly turns the ball over. And when Philly turned the ball over, I'm like, okay, um, Jaden Daniels put together a nice drive, and they looked good, and he looked good. He looked good all game to me. Um, but they turned around and they turned the ball right back over, gave it right back to Washington. I mean, to Philly, it was Austin Eckler. Um, when he was trying to get more yards, he put his hand down, had his
Mm-hmm.
other hand, didn't fully secure the football, fumbled the ball, and that turned into a Philly touchdown. They went up 18.
Brady was like, he's got little hands.
Hey,
So
Hey, Brady's commentary, by the way, Brady's
it's
commentary
getting better.
is it. Yeah, yeah,
It's getting better. It's
for
getting better.
sure.
Definitely
Yeah,
getting better.
so it was like, yeah, Philly was just they were dominant, man. Even from the beginning, man. A 60-yard run in the beginning, like
yeah. I think that kind of foreshadowed the game. Um,
I,
because the drive, I agree with you. The first drive looked like okay, you know, Philly might be in for it. The Commanders looked like they came to play. They converted. What was it? Three third downs and a fourth down, or something like that. They just kept converting
two fourth
yeah,
downs.
two
yeah,
fourths.
yeah.
Okay, I
Two
know it was
fourth downs.
a third down conversion too before they got to the two fourths. They converted, kept the drive going, got all the way down there, had to settle for a field goal. Um, and then like you say, Kevin, Saquon Barkley broke off that big run, and they put up a little graphic that just showed the time of possession at that time. So it was like a 7-minute drive
Yeah,
for
one play.
the Commanders,
Yeah,
and it was like time of possession 7 minutes and 3 seconds, and then time of possession 18 seconds
yeah.
for Philadelphia. Score,
16. Yeah.
yeah, score was 7-3 Philadelphia. And it was just kind of like, damn, like all that work you putting in, and they still, Philly is still on
got
top. So, you know,
got loose quick. Engineer, good evening.
engineer
How
in
you
the
doing?
building. Engineer, what's up, engineer?
Good. So, um, I think I'm looking at it in as an opposite, right? I
Hmm.
think the the game was already I already knew the game was over when they said on the first drive of the game, Washington has the ball. They went 18 plays, longest drive of the season. They went for it on two fourth downs, and they walked away with 3 points. I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Oh man, they already redlining. They already
Yeah.
redlined." I think it was when they actually the final fourth down, they end up kicking a three. Tom Brady's like, "Why don't you just go for it again? Y'all been
Yeah,
going
he
for it.
did.
Just
He did. Yeah. Yeah.
like it, go for it, right?" So at that point, I was like, "Oh yes, over." But then what really what really solidified it for me was what you said. Saquon comes and yaks off 60, yeah, real quick. And then I
real
was
quick.
like, I was like, okay, it's over. Because then you started to see some of the desperation shit. Because then
Right.
I think it was after they had to, I think they punted. Philly scores again, and then they were about to punt again, and they have to go for the fake punt. I said, "Oh man, y'all desperate."
But the fake punt though, what was that? What's his name?
It-
Tress Way?
yeah,
Hey, throw was on point.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Throw was on point.
It
And
was,
to make it was a good call, man. It was a good call because they executed, kept that drive going,
Yeah.
but then didn't do nothing.
but
Didn't do nothing with that.
what I'm saying is, with all that, like they
Right.
needed to pull every single stop
Everything
out
out. Yes.
and Philly was just relentless with everything. So Jalen Hurts, his stats look decent as far as passing goes, but once Saquon hit him with that first 60-yard run, their defense had already been predetermined. We have to stop Saquon.
Right.
It
Yeah.
opened
Right.
Yeah.
everything else up. The
Right.
Philly offense got whatever they wanted because it was single coverage across the board. I mean, we're selling out to
Yeah.
stop
Hey,
Saquon,
I said it
right?
was like some foreshadowing right when that happened. It's like, okay, this about to go down.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
remember I said we were talking about the MVPs, and I said think about if they didn't do that brotherly shove shit. If they let Saquon Barkley just run the ball, right?
yep,
Oh
He'd
yep,
yeah.
probably be in that conversation for like MVP. He was already kind of in it, but he'd really be in the conversation for MVP. If you look at
absolutely.
today, Jalen Hurts, I think, had like
Like
10
250.
carries for
Oh,
16 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, but 2 of them were of the brotherly shove variety, right?
that could have
Give
went to
give
Barkley.
those to Barkley.
Yeah.
He has 5 rushing touchdowns. If you let him run the ball, because as soon as they get to the 5, it's like Barkley, if you don't score, they probably going with the brotherly shove. But how would that line have looked? 5 touchdowns, over 100 yards, like under 20 carries. Because I think he was at like what 15 carries or something like that.
Hey,
Crazy.
again, they were. It was a great. It was a feel good story, right? Cinderella team. Nobody expected anything of them, and they came.
Go ahead, Oop.
So
Engineered.
um, Philly, Philly was just they had too many pluses. When you come in and your only weakness is your quarterback, or that's not even your weakness, but that's the weak link. Like, so if there's somebody that we can exploit, it's got to be the quarterback. I mean, I told you all three levels of the defense: D line, linebackers, Bong. I think his name is Zach Bong, 53.
Bong. He's
Oh
he,
my God,
he's a defensive player of the year finalist.
game
Yeah.
wrecker. And he's been doing it all season, man. Then you
Yeah.
talk about the young cats in the secondary, plus you got the veterans in the secondary, that D
Dejan
line.
and what is
Got
it,
the
Mitchell?
interception
And
late in the
Mitchell.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
We talked about
so
them last time. And both of them are actually defensive rookie of the year
yeah.
finalists.
And then,
They
and
put
then
up
you
that
have
graphic.
and
And
then
one
you
of them from Georgia.
Not the two of them.
Okay.
Carter's from Georgia.
Okay. Okay.
and then you have um on offense, you can really just lean on the running back.
Yeah.
I think they
Hmm.
said that to your point about the MVP and how that brotherly shove kind of killed a lot of his MVP traction. They said there were, I think, 12 runs this year where he got stopped at the one, and then they
Yeah.
did that bullshit.
Damn.
Come
12
on, man. And that's
touchdowns.
and that's what I'm saying. 12,
Ooh.
right. 12 extra touchdowns on his stat line. And uh, if we talking about just this game, 2 extras. So that would have been 5 rushing touchdowns. Like it don't get it twisted. It's Saquon Barkley. That's the difference.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where where you're getting at, Bong.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's Saquon Barkley, dog.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Jalen Hurts, his stat lines look good. It looks like they had a balanced attack, you know, all that stuff. But it's Saquon Barkley is the difference, dog.
Absolutely. That he dictated how the defense was going to play, how the Washington defense was going to play. And again, when we talk about that's why last week everybody's talking about how poised and how, you know, like veteran like Jaden Daniels is. Don't get me wrong, he had a great rookie season. He
Mm-hmm.
had a great playoff run in the NFC. The NFC, if we're being honest, has been wide open for the last 3 to 4 years, where
Yeah, it's
there's no clear cut. You know, maybe
Yeah.
there was a year where San Francisco was a clear cut at one point in time, but even now, you know,
Last
James.
that was last year.
and to yeah, and to think that we all, you know, we talk about the NFC East being mediocre, you know, both of
Right.
the teams playing for the championship are from the NFC East this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
goes to your point, that shit is wide open.
shout out to Philly. As much as I hate Philadelphia, as much as I hate the Eagles, I damn near try not to wear green. Um, there there has to be something said about the fact that they made it to the Super Bowl. What, two of the
2 out of
last
the
three
last 3.
years?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Three, three of the last 8 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're
It's
talking
crazy.
about, you know, and we talk about this a lot. The teams that are really aggressive, the teams that are constantly reloading the clip. Like, okay, that didn't work. Well, damn it, you know what? Just throw the whole gun out. We're gonna get a whole new gun, a whole new clip, load it up, and we're gonna go attack it again. And then you talk about the ones that are just in it to share the profits with the league because we have profit sharing, and you know you're gonna make money off of parking, you know, parking sales, off of
Mm-hmm.
concession stands, off of
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and you just in it to make a buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's only truly 6 to 8 teams that I can say are consistently going for it. Consistently going for it. I really wish I could have seen that Baltimore, Philadelphia. I think they were the best two teams in the league
Yeah.
all year.
Yeah.
But you know, Baltimore didn't hold up their end of the bargain towards the end of the regular the playoff run. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Mm-hmm.
just they couldn't stick to their guns in regards to how they played the game. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, shout out to the Philadelphia defense. Three fumbles and an interception. So you got 4 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saquon Barkley, that run game and the
Yeah.
defense,
Saquon
man.
Barkley.
They say that those are two things that travel, man.
Yeah.
Run game, and defense. They're weatherproof.
Yeah.
And Saquon, you know, he's on a mission to get him one.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, for sure, for
so
sure. And since we're on you mentioned the defense again. Engineer made a comment where we talking about Kamari from Georgia. I wasn't talking about him. I was actually, when I said Carter, I was talking about Jalen Carter for the Eagles. And I think Nolan Smith is a linebacker from Georgia for the Eagles. He made some plays, but Carter is ridiculous. Like he the thing what he allows them to do, and I forget who the other the D tackle is on the other side on his I think it's he usually lines up on his right side. But they are able to just rush 4, drop 7.
Yeah.
Rush 4, drop 7 consistently. So they can do so many things because they can put pressure on the quarterback without having to do different kind of blitz packages and all of that kind of stuff. They were already pressuring Daniels, and Carter had a lot to do with it. And who was that he smacked the shit out of?
Oh, the
Um
center. The
um
the center.
what's his name?
I don't know his name. Yeah, he had to take a seat.
Oh my
I
god. He smacked the shit out of him. I was like, damn. First I thought it was a flop. I thought it
Mm,
was kind of a flop, but then I was like, did he
mm,
really smack the
mm.
shit out of him? But anyway, but yeah, I mean, like you say, Ubang, running game, defense, Like,
Yeah,
great formula.
yeah,
Question for y'all
absolutely.
then. Question for y'all. What does Saquon Barkley's performance this year and Derrick Henry's performance, what do their performances do for the running back market? Like going forward, even if we're speaking short term, like with how they perform this year. Older, two considered older running backs, both, were 1 and 2 as far as, yards go,
I
played
think I
dominant this year.
I
I
think it
think
depends on the team though that you go to, because both of those teams that they went to were built for the run. So they were able to flourish in that. So I still think it's going to be a case by case basis. But I think that they'll still go younger, because I mean
so.
you could say that and look at what you're running back for the Cowboys.
Yeah, but I
Uh,
don't mean I'm not
I,
necessarily saying like go younger. I'm
yeah,
saying like what does it do for the
For the
market? Like,
market in
yeah.
general,
But
yes.
right?
look at Ezekiel Elliott as well. You got to include him in the market too. He stunk.
No, don't
No, no, no.
don't do that.
Well,
No, don't do that.
That's like a drastic.
Look,
That's a
no, don't do
drastic
that.
turn. Like, nah, man.
No. So here's what I'll say. There was what happened was there was a rush to try and bury the running back position, right?
Mhm.
So they were trying to devalue the running back position.
Not
And
trying.
what no no no, they tried. They tried to devalue the running back
They
position.
have.
Hold on, DP. Let me get it out. So they tried to devalue the running back position, and by doing so, it created a a unique situation where Saquon Barkley was available and Derrick Henry was available because they were trying to say, hey, well, you can just plug and play any running back, and you don't, over a certain age, they're no good.
Mhm.
There's no world where in the regular NFL where Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry are available as free agents, even at this age, at the same time. Like Saquon still got a good bag. I think Saquon he got a decent. I think he got like probably like 8 million or something like that a year.
Yeah.
I think he got like 3 years for. I
I,
think it was
we
like
can
three
pull
years
up.
at
We
eight
can pull
million a
up his
year.
contract, but you
Derrick
know,
Henry, Derrick Henry went for a more depressed price, but
right.
again, what it what but now that they've done what they've done, the other running backs that are available next year, or the running backs that are available next year, there's nobody that really stands out. There's no Saquon there, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no Derrick Henry there. So I don't think somebody from the market that's available, a Najee Harris or
Mm-hmm.
um, maybe an Austin Eckler or something like that. I don't think any of those
No,
guys are going
Eckler
to.
is.
I don't think they're going to command that type of money, but you will see the resurgence of the first round running back,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
We keep
And that
hearing
is
about.
and that is correct. Real quick, Ubong Saquon's contract
Okay, I'm sorry,
3 for 37.
my
Yeah,
bad.
so
I shortchanged
engineer
him.
three
Woo,
for 37.
appreciate you, engineer. I definitely shortchanged him. I know
20
it was
26 million guaranteed. So
got it. Yeah, so he got his money. Saquon got his money. Derrick Henry got a little bit less. But what I think it does is it's going to Ashton Genty is
mhm.
definitely going to be a first round pick. You probably have a few other cats that may go first round, second round, right?
So you think it makes teams look at the running back position earlier in the draft now versus
It makes you put a premium back on the running back position.
okay.
Like they were trying to devalue it, and I think what Saquon did and what Derrick Henry did was basically save the running back position. Right
Okay.
now, had Saquon came out and Derrick Henry came out and they had lackluster years, maybe, um, yeah. It's, you got to remember they disrespected Saquon so bad. Saquon was let go, and they retained Daniel Jones.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is no longer on the
Who's
team.
now gone? Like
It,
how ridiculous does that look? Like That's crazy. So yeah, engineer, I agree, man. Like making 12-year annually and putting in more work than most of the receivers corps. So yeah, like he's carrying the load for the
Abs-
Eagles, dog. Like
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
because when you look at their number one, AJ Brown, he had 3 catches through the first couple games. 3 catches,
Yeah,
no touchdowns, no. This was his best game. Hadn't really produced, before.
didn't have
I
to.
mean, exactly. Saquon Barkley
Yeah,
is,
didn't have to. You know,
it
in the
did it.
last 15 games, Saquon is averaging 134 yards a game in the
Yeah,
last 15.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
For all the
And I
prop
think it's
bettors
like a
out there,
6.4 yards per carry average too. When I
yeah,
looked at it earlier.
for all the prop bettors out there, they just kept raising the number every week. 104,
Yeah.
106, 108,
Yeah.
yeah,
because it's like,
Yeah.
damn, like you're not supposed to have that high of a prop bet for
yeah,
rushing yards per game, but Saquon is like it's like how Tyreek Hills was last year. Everything's over 100, because
Right.
you just know that it's almost a guarantee he's gonna. I mean, he comes out 60 yards on his first touch.
Crazy.
yeah.
Kid,
Crazy.
it's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So 442 yards through 3 playoff games.
That's
Six
yeah,
6.4 yards per carry. And today finished with 15 carries, 118 yards, 3 touchdowns. So
And let me
that's
say this.
ridiculous.
Let me say this one thing. What what the the devaluing of the running back position allowed Saquon to do, and allowed or should have allowed Derrick Henry to do, but it still did, was allowed these guys that normally would be stuck in bad positions in bad on
on
bad
bad teams.
teams
Yeah,
that
that
would
aren't
never
trying to
see.
win.
Saquon has never won a playoff. I don't think he's ever been to the playoffs.
Hmm.
Saquon has never played in the play. I don't think he ever played in the playoffs, or he didn't.
With the Giants,
I know they beat Minnesota that one year, but I don't know if Saquon was playing that year. I think he might have been hurt. That was like 2 years ago when Minnesota went like 14-3, and
Hmm.
then got bounced in the first round by the Giants.
yeah,
Giants.
either way it goes, it's oozing mediocrity.
Right. So
Whatever.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying is,
Yeah.
it basically created a loophole. It basically created a loophole like KD going to the Warriors,
Yeah,
where this normally
Okay.
should
I
never
I
happen.
like the comparison.
There's in no world should this happen where Saquon Barkley gets on a supercharged team and again is able to make a run to the Super Bowl. But shout out to the front office of the Eagles. I mean, we hear a lot of teams that talk about how, hey man, when you pay the quarterback, you're not able to take care of other guys. Eagles may have the best offensive line in football. As a matter of fact, they do have the best offensive line in football. If it's not, it's between them and the Ravens. But Eagles have a top two offensive line in football, right?
hmm
Then you have a number one wide receiver in AJ Brown who's getting paid, a number two in Devontae Smith who's getting paid. You got your quarterback making $55 million a year. You got your tight end that you just paid,
yeah,
or that you paid, Dallas Goddard. So you have all these guys and they're making it work under the cap. And it's like
Hmm.
I have a team that I root for, and they keep telling me that if you pay certain guys, there's only so much pie, and they like to call it pie. There's only so much pie that can go around. Hey, if you're paying Dak Prescott, hey, he's got to do more with less, right?
Hmm.
He's gonna have to come out here and play with Marquise Mingo or uh, Bryce Butler or this guy that we just pulled off the street because we paying him 60 million.
Hmm.
But the Eagles are showing us that if you're creative with the cap and make things work, you can always field a good team. The Rams did the same thing. The Rams won a Super Bowl. They went all in. They traded away a lot of assets to bring in veteran players that were ready to win right there.
Hmm.
They tore
Hmm.
it all down and brought it back up, and they were a playoff, a Super Bowl contender this year.
I was just about to say about a
yeah.
play or two away from,
And,
being in the division.
and
Go ahead, Kevin.
and that was after the injuries early in the season because it looked bad
Yeah.
Yep.
early.
Yeah. And speaking of injuries, Jerkins was out for the Eagles. what you were to the offensive line, and they moved Dickerson over. He also had a knee brace because he was, I
He
think, his
crying
left knee
halfway
or
through
something like
the
that.
game.
Yeah, but he gutted it out, and they, still got busy. Hey, and they were like, "We don't give a damn about your knee. We're calling this brotherly shove again and again and again and again." Like,
Hey, it was one. Hey, look, It's one time they was on like the 3 yard line. I said, "Damn, y'all calling it all the way from out."
that's right. They looked at him like, "Hey, you know what it is."
Hey, they said we finna
You
hit y'all
know,
with 3 brotherly shoves back.
Oh man.
yeah. At that point, Washington gave up. Like,
Yeah,
man, we
yeah,
just
they had already.
An engineer. Engineer said earlier, he knew the game was over when Luvu was doing his best impression of Circus Olay. What Cirque del Soleil? Yo, so
Cirque
wait,
du Soleil.
so like, yeah, hey, that nigga jumped over the line like, what was it, 2 or 3 times in a row?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
what, I didn't even know that rule existed where they were like, look, if you
If
keep
you do
doing
it
this,
again
we just gonna award him the touchdown, dog. Like,
I was curious.
on some little league shit.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
like,
yeah. I was curious to know though, who was the touchdown gonna go to?
nah,
Who
they
was
probably
team
would have just
team
put it as a
touchdown.
team touchdown.
Team
but
touchdown,
Yeah,
baby.
you
you
know
can
how they
take
do it,
that.
like a team rebound in
Yeah.
basketball. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Hey, but again, no disrespect to the Washington Commanders. Again, another one of our rivals as a Cowboys fan. But um, now the fight now the real game starts because okay, just like CJ Stroud, you caught
mhm,
everybody off guard last year or
mhm,
this year, right?
mhm.
You caught everybody off guard. Nobody saw you coming. And every analyst on ESPN, every analyst on on
My bad.
Fox Sports, they all had the same thing. Jaden Daniels is the best. They said he's not the best, one of the best rookie quarterbacks. They proclaim this guy a top 5 quarterback in the league off of 1 year stats. That's where this is a popcorn society. Everybody wants it right now. Can he come and do it next year? Are they going
So
to be back in the NFC Championship game next year?
here's a question then. If you gotta pick five, you're a GM and you gotta go and say these are my top five. Who are you going with
In the NFC?
in the NFL?
Oh no. Jaden Daniels is not in my top 5.
Mahomes,
Who's your top five?
Mahomes, Josh Allen, uh, Lamar Jackson. Hmm. Then it gets, let's see, it's day by day for me. Are we going off this year?
Okay, let's go off this year.
All right, Jared Goff,
Just to make it easier.
Jared Goff, and I don't want to say Baker Mayfield. I'm trying to think of somebody else before I think of Baker. Um,
Baker had a great offensive coordinator who's no longer there
so did
for the
Jared
New Orleans.
Goff, but we're going off this year though.
No, I mean,
Okay, go off of this year and stick to the NFC then.
Hmm.
well, Jaden Daniels off based off this year in the NFC is a top 5 in the NFC.
Okay, so
Top
then
5
there's
in
it.
the league.
So then
No,
is there a legitimate? Well, you said, are we talking NFC? So I said, okay, we'll talk NFC. Is there a legitimate argument then, based on what you were saying earlier? Is that argument for Jaden Daniels legitimate?
It's just too soon.
it's too soon.
That's all. It's
I
just
don't
too
want to.
soon.
I don't want to. I don't want to crown anybody off of one season. And
Correct.
engineer, I keep forgetting. I keep
Yeah,
forgetting
he's a
that,
Texans fan.
that you're a Texans fan. And no disrespect, no disrespect to CJ Stroud, but and
but
again,
but Ubang, before you move off of that, who are you taking over Jaden Daniels in the NFC then? Like, who are you taking?
I'll take Matthew Stafford over Jaden Daniels in the
Okay.
NFC. I take. Let me go through my list of NFC quarterbacks. I'd take Baker Mayfield over Jaden Daniels in the NFC.
Okay.
Take
Are you taking Dak Prescott over him?
Absolutely. I'll take Dak
Okay.
Prescott over Jaden Daniels in the NFC.
Are you taking Jalen Hurts?
No, I think I think Jaden Daniels is better than Jalen Hurts because he's more elusive. And I think he also has a little bit more accuracy, but he's gonna have to put some weight on because eventually, man, you can't continue to take all these vicious hits at his size.
Or just learn
Um,
how to slide and get out the way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and for anybody that hate on me saying I'll take Dak Prescott has been with a bunch of different offensive coordinators, a bunch of different head coaches that are calling plays. And every time the next one leaves, they say, hey, man, he's going to fall off, and he's still there.
Yeah.
They said
Set up, and lose.
Carson Wentz. Yeah, even this last year. Um, Caleb Williams, I would not take Caleb Williams over Jaden Daniels because Caleb Williams had a better offensive. He had a better offense than
Not
Jaden
the
Daniels.
not the line.
No, no, no. But again, it
You're
was
you're saying like
it
the
was
his weapons and
Yeah.
his
okay.
But
offensive skill
but
players. His offensive skill players were better than Jaden Daniels. And guess what, Kev? His line wasn't as bad as people say it is. Caleb Williams, going back to college, had a problem holding on to the ball too long. And he brought that shit to the NFL where it does not translate because these dudes is faster and stronger than dudes that you playing in the Pac-12.
Mm.
Like, so again, you had a problem with not getting the ball out on time. What they did when they fired Matt Eberflus and they started to kind of simplify the offense, get the ball out of his hands quicker. He started to look a little bit better towards the end of the
Mm.
season.
He'll be
But
better next year.
oh, he'd be a
he
lot
thought
better.
he's like the young Aaron Rodgers, right? He thinks that my arm is so gifted that I can hold on to the ball forever and make things happen, and it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and engineer said he did run himself in the sacks a lot. I was gonna say it's a like we were talking about the mobile quarterback situation. It's a thing of being mobile, but it's also a thing of like knowing when to use that mobility, when to get the ball out of your hands and stuff like that. Like he'll get it though, I believe. Like he's talented. He'll be better next year.
Like
You know, he's
Jaden Daniels came in with that, right?
yeah.
He knows
Yeah, he did.
he knew when to scramble, he knew when to get rid of the ball. Um, you know,
But that's why he's getting the praise as a rookie. Like I'm not trying to crown him the greatest. That's like we had one person comment about the Troy Aikman comment about Patrick Mahomes, where they were essentially trying to crown Patrick Mahomes early and say he was, one of the greatest and all this stuff. And I think Aikman says something to the degree of, talk to me about that when he has, rings or the same amount of a third of the rings I have, or something like that. Like just one
oh,
ring when he gets a Super Bowl ring. You can have that conversation now because he's kept it up. Like, so you
Yeah.
could definitely have that talk now, but I get what you're saying. Like Jaden Daniels hasn't done that. So it's like pump the brakes on giving him the crown. But the praise and the talk is there because of
and
the
I
way he's playing. You know what I'm
and I
saying?
said and I said it last week, right? Give we talk about Jaden Daniels being poised, and I said you can only I don't want to hear that word used for anybody besides Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the guy. And until proven otherwise, he's in the club by himself. He's in the VIP section, it's roped off, he's got bottles everywhere, and he's standing on the couch by himself. I don't want to see anybody else in there. There's
Mm-hmm.
nobody
Well,
in the NFL right now that is on Patrick Mahomes' level. Point blank, period.
no, that's a fact. That's a fact. I think who was it after the game? JJ Watt said, you know, I think he said in basketball you had the Jordan era, and football we had the Tom Brady era. Now we're in the Patrick Mahomes era. We are witnessing his time. Like, so yeah, I agree with you. And I gotta say, man, engineer, the points that you make and the things that you bring up, respect to that, man.
Yeah.
You just said Jaden Daniels is 24. You talked about Bo Nix. He's an older quarterback. Um, what's the Oregon's quarterback is he transferred from, I think it was Wake or something like that. He's older. These kids are getting older
Penix is
because,
older.
yeah, Penix is older.
Yeah.
These kids are these players are older, and I think that trend will continue because of the things that they're doing in college with the NIL and all that stuff, and how they're making junior college not count towards NCAA and all of that. Like, it's a lot. Dylan Gabriel, bang, you're right. That's exactly what I'm talking about. But I think that trend will continue. Like, you know, especially with football, they already got to stay, longer than they do with basketball. But you're
Yeah.
going to see in professional sports, I believe, all across the board, since these kids are able to get to the money in college, get to the money sooner,
Hmm.
they're going to play out all 4 years, 4 to 5 years, depending on, how it rolls. And then they'll go, officially go pro.
So so check this out, if I may add. Now the question begins with Jaden Daniels, Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, I think his name Joe Witt, defensive coordinator. Cinderella story. You caught everybody by surprise. Next year, you're no longer creeping up on anybody. Everybody's gonna see you coming. And if guess what? If you have a great year,
Hmm.
you run the risk that even if you don't win next year, what happened to Detroit happens to you. You're going to lose your
Mhm.
offensive coordinator. You're going to lose your defensive coordinator, right? Now they strip the cupboard bare and you got to try and rebuild. I don't think Jared Goff is going to be the same. We will see the true Jared Goff will be exposed.
Him
The
and
true
Baker.
Jared Goff will be Baker Mayfield, I think, has always been decent. He's decent.
Mhm.
What's up,
And
man?
doesn't Anthony Lynn is there too, right?
With
With the
who?
Commanders. Anthony Lynn. He's with
He
the
may be.
Commanders in some capacity.
He may be. But what
I
I'm
gotta look.
saying
I gotta look
is,
that up. I was just saying, like, you're talking about the staff and stuff, and the support he has. I think he's also there.
and the
He's a
defensive court
he was a former head coach with the
and the
Chargers.
defensive coordinators are going to catch up to what Jaden Daniels is doing. Now you got tells. You have little signs. Okay, we can
Yeah.
tell you do this, you're going to do that, right? So now that we see those things starting to happen, let's see if he can maintain and sustain who like this success that he had. And
Yeah.
I'm like I said, hey, he did more than the Dallas Cowboys have done in
Hey,
30 years. Made it to
hey,
the NFC Championship game, right?
look.
Can
Go ahead. Let me let you finish
can
that point.
can, can you sustain success? Can you
Yeah.
sustain success? Is the big question, because I mean he didn't really have any like true offensive weapons. Terry McLaurin was
Was the
amazing.
Yeah, and that's a segue to my point of why I'm talking about Anthony Lynn. He's the run game coordinator and running backs coach. They didn't do shit. The running backs, like, and I was expecting that they would kind of, do a little something to change the pace. Like, they couldn't get it going at all.
Remember, they
No.
dealt with injuries. They dealt with injury early.
They
So I
they
think
did they did, but
Eckler missed some time with the concussions. He's had a history of concussions. I think Brian Robinson Jr. missed a little bit of time,
Ro-
but yeah,
He
all in
did.
Robinson looked like, and I actually like his game. I think he can be one of those guys, right? It's just he today, for some reason, it looked like he was trying to channel his inner Le'Veon Bell and kind of wait. You know how Le'Veon Bell
Wait
used
for the
to wait.
hole.
Yeah, used to wait for it to develop, and then bam. Like,
right.
he looked like he was, I don't know if it was hesitant, but he was like waiting, and then it was too long. You can't wait with them dudes with Philly's D line. Like, you
Hey,
gotta
man.
But
see it and go.
guess what? So while you're talking about it, and we talked about it a few minutes ago, they could use a premier running back to go along with Jaden Daniels, right? You get Jaden Daniels, you
Yeah,
pair him with
that's
a
man.
either a Derrick Henry type or a
Uh-huh.
Saquon Barkley type running back in that system, and there'll be any if you have a NFL GMs, if you have a running quarterback, not a mobile quarterback, not a somebody that's gonna move the pocket. If you have a running quarterback, you must pair them with a dynamic running back. It will be unstoppable because you never know where it's gonna go, and it opens up the passing game.
Hmm.
This is not rocket science, but you got to put the smart people in the building to go and find the talent. Like there's tight ends making more than running backs right now. Like what when the fuck did we turn into this? What is Cole Komet making?
Oh, I don't know. You wanna check that out, KP?
I'm about to check right now.
I was checking out who will be the 2025 free agents at the running back
Cole
position.
Cole Komet Cole Komet signed a 4-year, $50 million contract extension with the Bears.
Hmm.
But what I'm saying is, do you think that he is more valuable than Derrick Henry?
No,
Okay, he's making
absolutely not.
substantially more than Derrick. And I was just
And
using
that
Cole.
and that's why I said they're not trying to devalue. They have devalued the running back position, dog.
Yeah.
Like that shit is definitely devalued. Um,
You
r-
shooting him strays, Ubong? He-
hey, but since you said that these are the free agents in 2025, right? At the running back spot. Aaron Jones, who's currently with Minnesota.
Older.
Najee Najee Harris with Pittsburgh.
Mm-mm.
J.K. Dobbins with the Chargers. You know, he just came back from injury. Nick Chubb with the Browns just came back from injury. Um, so those are the top ones that they've listed here. I have to see if I
No,
can get a
nothing
fuller list.
spectacular.
No,
I'd say Aaron Jones is probably the top of that list, but he can't he can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy.
who? Aaron Jones? Oh, you talking about engineers comment?
Yeah.
Y'all gave Schultz 11 mil. Engineer says the Texans gave Schultz 11 million to stare at Stroud while he blows a blocking assignment. Um, yeah, I mean, dog. A lot of these guys are getting paid way more than when you're speaking in comparison to production, right?
Okay.
Like a lot of
Hey,
them are getting paid way more than they
guess
should. Like, especially
guess,
if you using Derrick Henry as an example, that's ridiculous.
Oh, another running back that we didn't talk about. The running back for the Texans. He was another one.
he was. Hey, listen, there were
Yeah,
like four or
Yeah.
five running backs. So
and
you
he
had
produced.
Yeah,
Joe
absolutely.
Mixon,
Joe
even though
Mixon, yeah.
he slowed down towards the end of the season. You had Joe Mixon.
But he
Then you
was
had
banged up too. That's why. But yeah.
for the Packers, you had number 8
From the
for the
Raiders.
Pack
Yeah,
from the
he
Raiders.
Oh,
was, he was with the Raiders, yeah.
um,
I know you're talking about. I can't think
shit.
of that.
Yeah, go ahead. He came out of Alabama too, though. Another Alabama running back.
Number 8 for the Raiders. So you had a
Yeah.
few running backs that were like again like
Jacobs.
Yeah,
Jacob.
Brandon.
Yeah. No, not Brandon.
Not Brandon Jacobs.
Josh.
Josh
Josh
Jacobs.
Yeah,
Jacobs.
Josh
Josh
Jacobs.
Jacobs.
Remember Kevin said Brandon Jacobs the last time
Hey man,
Oh
we
yeah.
talked about that shit, and
your
I
ass
was
was making fun of me.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, nah, but Josh Jacobs out of Alabama didn't pan out with the Raiders, but yeah, he's a
And
solid
so
running back as well.
I want to transition to somebody who I know is worth the money. Green is for the money. Gold is for the honey. Hey, this young man, Patrick Mahomes. Can we talk about it?
Yeah,
Can we
I
talk
mean,
about it?
you know,
Can we talk about it? And ah,
I mean, he did what he needed to do. He did what he needed to do. That's what I say. Like it's not always like ultra spectacular.
Yeah.
You know, it just it's like grind it out, make the play when you need to.
and
Um,
that's what I've been saying. He remember
yeah,
when remember when I said that initially? I said he's not looking to be like Joe Burrow, where it's like, hey, I'm trying to throw for 6,000 yards. If
yeah.
it comes, it comes. But he will find any possible way. The minute you think he's about to pass the ball and he's in a passing situation, he's skating out the back door. The minute you think he's about to skate out the back door, he gonna get right to the line of scrimmage and let that motherfucker go. Like he's there. He knows the answer to every test, bro. Like he's
But you
going to make the right play every single time.
but you
There's
talk
no other
about
quarterback in the league doing that right now.
but you talk about this is what worked to his advantage though, right? You're always talking about what situation is plug and play. And I'm not saying Kansas City necessarily quarterback, the quarterback position is plug and play cuz maybe not, right? But the skill positions like receiver, running back and all of that stuff like you if you have skills, you can take Eckler and put him with the Chiefs. Would he have been productive?
Yes.
Yes,
Take Robinson, put him with the Chiefs. Would he have been productive?
Yes.
yes,
I'm just saying, like they do what they're supposed. The skill players do what they're supposed to do. The play calling and all that stuff. Even defensively, like defensively, they were calling the right blitzes at the right time for the right plays. All that stuff. Like they are coached well. And if you have skilled guys, like look at Juju Smith Schuster
Yeah.
had a flashback like he was playing at USC. He was out there getting busy, right? And it's like,
but he did that before for Kansas City. It's not his
I
first rodeo
know,
in Kansas City.
but where is he? And where was he? Kansas City. That's what I'm saying. Like
Right.
you come if you come there and you can play, you have some skills. Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback, right? So he is going to do more with, and I'm not. This is no shade to any of the players, but he would do more with less than probably any other quarterback in the NFL.
And
Does
that's
anybody
what
disagree with
and
that?
and that's
No.
what
Okay,
I then that's my only the only thing I'm trying to say. The only point I'm trying to make is that Patrick Mahomes will always be able to do more with less. And he is, in my eyes, the only quarterback in the NFL right now that can do more with less.
but
I don't give a fuck who you want to say. You can line them up: Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, uh, the newly crowned Jaden Daniels. None of them can do what Patrick can do.
but add to this though, his less isn't that's why I said no shade or disrespect because his less ain't his less when you really look at it now.
No.
You talking about Juju Smith Schuster was a first round talent. Hollywood Brown was a first round talent. Xavier Worthy. Like these
Speak.
guys are threats. No, what I'm saying is they are real threats if put in the position to be that. Like maybe all those guys, if you name all those guys, they still ain't they may not be your typical, hey, this is my number one
Yeah.
receiver.
Yeah.
But dog, in that offense, like effective.
There,
One thing I will say though, I do want to say this because you mentioned Xavier Worthy, right? I thought that Kansas City got away with an incomplete right before the half.
Oh yeah, yeah,
When
yeah, yeah.
Xavier
That
Worthy
was that was
when they ruled it a catch
when it hit
inside
the
the red
ground.
zone.
Yeah.
That was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot of football that hit the turf, man.
look,
A
en-
lot of football. And I'm not
engineer
saying
said,
it was in, huh?
go ahead, finish saying what you're
And
saying.
and and I'm not saying that the I'm not saying it should have been an interception. It should have been an incomplete pass.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that ended up,
I
leading
agree.
to that put them in the red zone and essentially led to a touchdown. 21-10. That
So
was that was a big turning point.
engineer says Patrick Mahomes has all the answers because the refs are giving
The
him the
refs
answers.
giving the answers. Okay.
But
Yeah, and
so
that was one reviewed.
so
They
so
reviewed that
No, it
one.
was yeah. I
Like,
don't know what happened with
do
how
that.
do you
do
review that?
do we remember what else happened on that play?
What else happened on that play?
It was a defensive holding on that play as well. So whatever happens there, Kansas City is getting an automatic first down because Kelsey was held on the play. They declined it because of the catch. So
Mhm.
they were getting a first down. It's going to get lost in
They're not in the
the
red
whole.
zone though. They're not. In the,
They were no. They were in the red zone. They just weren't. That put them basically on the goal line.
You're talking about the catch put him on the goal line.
The catch put
The
them on the
catch put
goal
him
line.
within the 5 for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. They were already going to be in the red zone because of the 5 yard. I think it was like a 5 yard holding. But again, I believe that they were still like they probably still scored there, right? And what I'm saying is Patrick Mahomes. There's 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 nobody that I've seen, and I'm a huge Tom Brady hater. But what I will not deny is that situationally, like there was nothing he was not prepared for. He
Yeah.
can get you a first down when you need it, a touchdown when you need it, a field goal when you need it. Like that
He's
was his
making
gift.
the right play.
Making the
yeah.
right play every single time. He has every answer. There's no look that you can give him that he doesn't have an answer for, right? And again, I said it last week, or maybe a couple weeks ago. I'll say it again. Patrick Mahomes is the Michael Jordan
Mm.
of this era in the NFL, and there are a lot of gold jacket quarterbacks, a lot of guys that y'all want to put in the club with Patrick Mahomes and say that they're, depending on what week of the NFL we're in, they're going to say, hey, this guy is better than Patrick Mahomes. Well, I think Josh Allen has taken over Patrick Mahomes. Guess what? Josh Allen has never beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. 0-4.
Never. Yeah.
Lamar Jackson has never beaten Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
But who is saying those? I don't hear that. I don't hear nobody saying that they're better than Patrick Mahomes. Who
No.
says that? I don't
I'm
hear
saying
that.
that there are people depending on the argument, depending on who, and this is maybe a few years ago. Now this is so undeniable that you can't, you barely hear it. But
Yeah, I hear
talk about
everybody
like
as the kids say, everybody glazing Patrick Mahomes
no,
now. Like I
no, they
yes,
don't.
they do, dog.
He didn't. Hey,
I don't hear nobody say that. I hear everybody say it's Patrick Mahomes, and then I hear that
it,
all over the place.
if they were glazing Patrick Mahomes, he'd have been a Pro Bowler this year. He's not a Pro Bowler,
We not talking about that's the Pro Bowl talk. You talking about greatest quarterbacks or who's the
right?
best
So
quarterback.
all I'm
We all
saying
know
is
the we when we were talking about the Pro Bowl, we talked about that I think a couple episodes ago, and it was like, what has he done in
Yeah.
comparison to those guys? Like stat wise, we know what that's all
yeah, but
about.
I'm not even trying to go down that road. I'm just saying
Right, exactly. I thought you were talking about who
no.
was the
I
best
I'm
quarterbacks.
saying that there are guys that will go down. So Lamar has never beaten Mahomes in the playoffs. Josh has never beaten Mahomes in the playoff. Burrow beat Mahomes in the playoff, and it is literally putting him on a pedestal. That win that he got on Mahomes is putting him on a pedestal, even though he didn't win the Super Bowl that year. The loss, one of Josh Allen's losses to Patrick Mahomes is considered his greatest playoff moment because it was competitive. They changed the overtime rules because of it, because he lost to Patrick Mahomes, right? Remember, oh man, how
Yeah,
can
it was
how can
basically who had the ball
who
last.
had the
Like,
ball last? And
yeah,
now you got opportunities to get the ball last, and you still get your ass kicked. Like, and hey, another week, another tight end we gonna blame. He throws a fucking duck.
Uh,
He throws a duck up there
talking about
that
Josh Allen
yeah,
that
that was
Kincaid didn't get.
was it a
Hey,
duck? Was it a duck?
listen.
Was it a duck though?
It was.
Ah,
I mean,
it hit him in the hands.
he could have caught it.
It hit him in the hands.
He
Oh,
could have
Bob, you
caught it.
said the tight ends are
Listen,
overpaid.
listen,
Hey,
listen. Let me say this. Let me say this. Hey, look. Let me say this. And I don't know if this will open up we'll probably just close the can of worms, but that wasn't as egregious as last week's drop. I'll say that.
No, it
It wasn't
wasn't.
as egregious as that 2 point
But
conversion drop.
I do have the question. This is the question I wanted to ask.
yeah.
So, I thought so. Let me start by saying I thought that Josh Allen played well. However, they lost. So, given the fact that they lost, is the blame on him like the blame was on Lamar the week
No,
before?
I told you they won't do that. Remember when Ubang was asking me who needed it more, I said in a loss, Lamar Jackson will be more scrutinized. And
And
and in this loss, I don't know that Josh Allen will be as scrutinized,
I would
especially given the fact. I'm sorry, and I'll let you roll. Especially given the fact that what Ubang just said, he was up against the great Mahomes. Like, so you supposed to lose. You ain't
and,
won yet.
and
Like,
engineers comment made me just think about something that I had in my notes.
What
So
was his comment?
his comment
he
was,
said, who's counting
to
anymore?
be fair, Josh Allen did get that first down, but who's counting anymore? But my my thing was, okay, Josh Allen didn't turn the ball over, but and this is going against what engineer said, on fourth down and one, Josh Allen didn't convert on the run. And then the 2 point conversion, when it was 1 yard because it was a penalty
Let,
to score, he didn't score
bro,
on the conversion.
listen. What if okay? If Phillies is the brotherly shove, what the fuck do the Bills got going on? Because that shit ain't really working. Like, what are we gonna call theirs, man? What are we gonna call the Bills?
This the Buffalo Budge.
Yeah, the Buffalo Budge. I can roll with that. The Buffalo
Not the
Budge.
Buffalo
Gee,
Buzz.
that shit was not working, man. Like, and this, and that brings me to another point I wanted to make about this game, from the Bills side of the game. I think they messed up by not rolling with Cook more.
Yes.
Cook was cooking, and
Okay.
they needed to roll with, like, he is that guy. Like, he's the one that you need to push. Like, when the ball was in his hands, he made shit happen, and they just didn't go to him enough. You know what I'm saying? So,
That fourth and goal was
man,
crazy.
like,
Oh
the
my god! I'm gonna put the
stretching
hand
out,
down to
yeah.
stay up, and elbow doesn't touch. The legs is still straight up, and I'm gonna hold the ball over the goal line. Yeah,
Hey, and you know what else? They were redlining, man. They went they went for fourth down 6 times. Like, that's letting you know we're scared. We are scared. Um, they played a
our
pretty
defense can't. No, it's our defense can't stop them. We're down a possession. We can't go down 2 possessions to this man, or it's over. That's what that was.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
I mean, I'm looking at it, and
shit, they are driving. The Chiefs are driving the ball. They
Yeah,
not just turning it over. So yeah,
yeah.
you get they got the ball with, like, I think it was 10 minutes was the first time they touched the ball in the, was it the third, in the second half, in the third quarter. That's when when the Bills got the ball first. What were you about to say, Bong?
I was saying it wasn't the game wasn't getting away from them, and there were times where they were ahead, but they were still trying to be ultra aggressive. Engineer,
When they were
let me
ahead, that's when it fucked up. When it was 20, 22, 21,
21. Yeah,
let,
and they turned the ball over on downs.
let me
yeah. The
address
fourth and one.
let
The,
me address engineer because he's talking about it. He said on the fourth and one, he did get it. The camera angle clearly showed him crossing the line. He sounds like conspiracy theorists now. And again, I think it's fatigue. It's Kansas City fatigue. And I always try and make these analogies because it's really like that. Go back to the Golden State championship era, right? when they won their first championship, it's like, oh man, we love this team. This fun and cuddly little Steph Curry guy. And,
Yeah.
he's so likable. The light skinned guy brings his daughter on to the post conference, to the
Hmm.
press conference after the games and stuff. Like, we really want to root for this guy. By the time it was over, it was like, man, fuck Golden State.
Hey
I hope
man,
somebody beats him. You know
that's
what I'm saying?
because
Like,
folks love the underdog, man. And
like
in most cases, folks love the underdog.
by
But
the time by the time it was all said and done, they was trying to discredit Steph Curry. They gave Andre Iguodala his first Finals MVP.
yeah.
Like,
Oh shit.
But to make to get to what engineers saying on that the camera angle, you had two referees signaling two different things. Yeah, one referee saying that no, he didn't get it. You had another referee saying he did get it.
I don't know,
yeah,
man. What was it? A Sony camera? Was it a
yeah.
Canon camera? Is it
To
it makes a difference? Like,
to beat it. Okay, what's the rule in boxing, DP?
hey man, you want
If
the
you got the
belt, you
guy with
got to
the
beat
belt,
the champion, man.
come on, you
Got to
can't go
beat
to
the champion
decision.
and
You
take the
got to
belt.
knock him out. You got to knock
Yep.
him out. It shouldn't even be close. Like, there was nothing egregious about any of the calls that were made. Um,
Oh no, that catch by Worthy, that
The
was
catch
egregious.
was that. That's probably the
That was
that
egregious.
that may be the only one that I could think of. I think that should have been an incomplete
Yeah,
pass.
like
I'm not like that
that's
should have been incomplete.
egregious.
I don't think it was egregious because what I do think is when it hit the ground, the Buffalo defender had possession of it. Worthy's hand was in there, and unfortunately, when they cut through all the ticker tape and the gray area and all that stuff, the offensive player retains possession. But I think that the Buffalo Bills defender had possession of the ball when it touched the ground. It didn't move when it hit the ground, so he had it like, kind of, he had it tucked. It touches the ground, but it doesn't move. Like, it doesn't jar. Like, even when the
It
ball
did.
touched the ground,
Yeah,
it
it
was
did.
solid.
Yeah.
It was stable.
It, but it was 3/4 of the ball that touched the ground.
Yeah,
It
I
doesn't
mean,
matter.
It was like it was way too much football that touched the ground. Like God, dog.
Again, you can find that play. You can find that play in every game. If we go back and scrutinize the Eagles game, we can find a play that's similar to that where it could have went either way. At the end of the day, find a way. Find a way.
yeah,
There were plays on the field
Oh
to be made.
should have
But the
went
yeah,
to
thing
Cook,
about
man.
yeah.
not
Should have went
not
to Cook. Should have
hey,
went to Cook. No, it ain't
DP.
no. It's
No, no, listen, hear me
they
out.
did not use Cook longer.
Hear me out.
Use
Hear
Cook
me out.
enough.
I'm saying that Steve Spagnuolo has a knack for, especially in the fourth quarter, when it's tight and the game is on the line, he knows exactly who to send, when to send them.
Ubang, I hear you. I'm talking about the Bills lining up and Cook ain't in the
Handing the ball.
game. No, no, no.
Oh,
Cook's not in the game to hand the ball to him. Like, you don't even have him in the game to be a
You know,
threat.
do you know
Like,
what that
dog,
is though? Do you know what that is though? Do you know what that
tell
is?
me what it is.
It's arrogance.
mm-mm.
Okay,
Because
well
they
then you were
no,
too
no,
whatever you want to
these
call
were
it.
hold
Of,
on.
Whatever you want to call it.
Josh Allen.
Yes, absolutely. Because they kept saying, so I guess, and Romo
So
was
then in this game they're asking Allen
hold on.
to do too much, you're saying.
No. Romo was speaking on how during the game, Buffalo likes to run, especially in those short yardage situations, to the
To the
over the
left.
left,
To the
to the
left.
left.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
What
sneaks, on the
and what
Buffalo Budge.
and
Yeah.
what Kansas City did was they knew it and they loaded it up. They loaded it up to the left. So again,
But you're
and
not
guess
saying
what? But guess what? They still ran it to the left with Josh Allen, and that's why everything.
Ubang.
ev- no,
And I
DP,
agree with you.
I get it. I get it because we can go back to last week, and I'll tell you that Baltimore didn't run the ball enough. You got Derrick Henry. You paid him money to come in. Why the fuck are you throwing it to Mark Andrews instead
That's
of
a
running it with Derrick Henry?
that's a fact. So
Right.
what? So why are
And
you?
I'm telling you
I'm,
that
don't try to mute what I'm saying about Cook. Like
no,
he's not even in the game, dog. Like
sir. I'm
he
not. We're
touched the
saying
ball. He touched the ball 4 times, I think, in the first half. Like you're
I'm
not
not.
even using this motherfucker.
I'm not denying anything you're saying. I'm telling you that the reason that they feel that Cook, you talking about Saquon and how many touchdowns
Right,
got hawked from him during the regular season. Josh Allen was doing that same shit.
right. So
So
so I'm asking you, like you were saying before that they're not asking Josh Allen to do too much like they used to, right? So did they flip the script in this game?
look. I'm gonna go back and I'm a uh, use because engineer he made a comment. Mahomes does well under pressure. The other guys don't do well under pressure. Regular season is different, but it also kind of doesn't matter. I think that's where his bias came in. But again, in these games, what happens is the coaches, Mahomes, and I was just talking to my son, my 12-year-old son. I was just talking to him about establishing yourself as that guy, so that when you walk into he plays basketball, when you walk into the gym, motherfuckers is already chattering, saying like, "Hey, hey, bro, what's the name? Just came in the gym." When Mahomes steps on the field, he has an aura about him that creates situations where coaches have to they're overthinking things. Josh Allen is overthinking things because he's the boogeyman. He's Candyman. Like, yes. So your game plan should be to go use Cook
No,
more. Cook
I
had,
hear you.
and
But you
we're not on different pages. We're
No,
saying the
we're not.
same
We're
thing.
not. But you're not answering what I'm asking you. You keep talking about something else. I hear what you're saying, but I'm asking you, with all that being said, right?
Yes.
Did they ask Josh Allen? Were they asking him to do too much, or was he trying to do too much? It's either one or the other. They were making the calls, and if Cook's not even in the game, is it Allen who's doing too much, or are they asking Allen to do too much?
I think they're overthinking it. They were
They're,
overthinking it because if
they're asking
the
Allen
person,
to do too much because they're not even putting Cook in the game.
but what I'm saying
So
is,
you put it on his shoulders,
so you
essentially.
know, Josh Allen is not the in charge of the personnel that comes in and out. That's coach.
Correct.
That's
That's
why
what
I'm
I'm
saying that.
saying.
That's why
Now,
I'm
now
saying
you're
that.
getting to it. Now you're
That's why
answering what I'm
yeah,
saying.
that's why I'm saying
So,
that.
and I believe the first thing I said was it was arrogance that they felt like Josh Allen could do it all, right? Because I listened to the coach in the post game, and they asked him, like, "Hey, Kansas City loaded up to stop that run. They loaded up to your favorite side, and you guys kept running there. What do you think happened?" He was like, "Hey, man, listen, we have the ultimate belief in Josh Allen that he can make the play. So even though they loading up to stop it, we gonna run that shit anyway."
And he also said he thought the ball, he brought up that the ball to Kincaid, he thought it was a catchable pass and all of that stuff. So you already
That's
see what he was talking about.
and that's just a coach that has been trained well to ride with his high
Franchise
playboy
quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
quarterback as
Yeah.
opposed to roll him under the bus. I don't give
Yeah.
a fuck what you say. That was a duck that he threw up that Kincaid had to reach down for. And maybe that's not his skill set, right? He's not a Travis Kelsey. He's not a George Kittle. He's not a I would have before last week I would have said he's not a Mark Andrews, but apparently Mark Andrews wouldn't have made the catch either.
All right,
So,
wait, there you go. but
but
remember, so the only reason why I was trying to get you to like hone in on that point was because I remember you saying maybe like 2 episodes ago, you said um they're not asking Allen to do too much, right? They're asking him to do I think you made the point about Hurts too.
yeah,
Like they're not asking them to do too much. And you also said, had this been maybe a couple years ago or a year ago, Allen would be trying to, gunsling and do all of this other stuff, but they kind of scaled that back, and it's like, hey, You're not gonna, lose the game for us.
Hey,
Manage this shit so we can win. So was this game a shift
and,
from
and
from that?
you saw him trying gunsling, even the touchdown that he threw right before the half.
Oh, to Mac Bare Feet Hollins.
Hey,
Kyle,
I was
yeah,
gonna say,
yeah.
hey, he was getting
That was
busy though.
a hell of a catch.
He
Ball
was
Hey,
getting
yeah,
busy.
so again,
Tell all them motherfuckers to take their socks off if they get
yeah,
to be
hey,
playing like him. He was getting
yeah.
but
busy.
With the bare
it's
feet.
it's it's Josh. If the game doesn't dictate for you to have to do too much, don't do too much. But if the game dictates that we need you to do something, and the game will always dictate that we need you to do something because who's on the other side?
So is it that because they were going against Mahomes, they changed their game plan? Like you're saying, like they changed the game plan, or they got too cocky, or whatever you saying it is. Whatever it is, it was a shift from the way they approached the game when they played Baltimore.
Definitely a
I'm
shift.
okay. That's that's
Okay,
that's kind of what
but
I'm. Yeah.
I think the human ego takes over, and it's like, hey, we have a guy, and just earlier this week, you had one of the offensive linemen, I think his last name is Dawkins for the Buffalo Bills, saying that the Bills are America's team. That the Cowboys were known as America's
Mm.
team because they were winning in the '90s, right? But their time is done, and now they have Josh Allen. And I said, wow, this motherfucker really made that statement in a world in the year 2025 where Patrick Mahomes is still in the NFL,
Let me.
and he talked about Buffalo being
Yes.
America's team.
You know why? Because a lot of people are thinking the same way you just brought up the shit about Golden State. Kansas City is in that phase now.
Yeah,
They're no longer, the
the
darlings that we
lovable.
want to see win. It's like, God damn, these motherfuckers are winning again.
Get this
They
motherfucker
want
Taylor
somebody to
Swift off our screen.
all
Dancing
that,
Green, Caitlin Clark in.
all that, all that, all that,
Yeah.
all that. So I think
Kermit the Frog looking
again,
Patrick Mahomes.
and again, it goes back to the underdog. They're rooting for it. They're like, damn, come on, Buffalo,
But
like
the
just
underdog,
make it happen.
but the underdog cannot be considered America's team.
I'm just saying, I see why they are saying that instead of saying Kansas City.
And
Kansas City is.
I would say over the last 30 years since the Cowboys were last relevant, um, I would go. New England had a real with Tom Brady had a
Yeah.
run
Yeah.
as America's team, and now
It
Kansas City.
was New England America's team though? Was New England America's team?
They were patriotic.
The Patriots, right?
Engineer says 95% of Americans couldn't point to Buffalo on a map.
Right. Or couldn't last 24 hours in the winter in Buffalo.
Oh shit.
So yeah, I mean that, but again, it's the disrespect. But
But you
there
just said
have
you're a Tom Brady hater,
who
right?
me?
Yeah. You said you're a Tom Brady hater, right?
I have always hated Tom Brady,
Right. And
but
I
I
think
can't
I
do
think that is it's more so people like that. If you ain't from that New England area, I don't think you really
Yeah.
embracing the Patriots like that.
it
Yeah.
I
don't
never got the sense that people would say, "Oh, that's America's team." The Patriots?
it, yeah,
Going off
of
of the
course.
namesake alone? No. No, that
Just just off
no.
of the X, it was the excellence. It was the excellence.
I don't
Winning
think so.
with regularity. Again, there's they call Dallas America's team, right? You know how many people hate Dallas? Like more than 60% of the population. It's the reason that I think the hardest position in sports in the NFL to be is the Dallas Cowboys quarterback.
There's a lot of people that love Dallas as well.
We have a strong fan base,
A
but
lot.
most teams do, right? You can say Pittsburgh has a strong fan base. Philadelphia has a strong fan base. Green Bay has a strong fan base. Like you'll see those fans all over the country, all over the world. It doesn't really matter. Dallas has more haters than any of those teams. And it's really because they're talked about so much, right? Dallas, Jerry Jones, he has a deal with the networks, spoken or unspoken. Keep us in the news. Keep us in the news, man. Keep us in the news. And that's all that he cares about. And he doesn't care about winning because by keeping us in the news, even if you embarrass us, we'll still be talked about and we'll still be considered America's team. But
Let's
nobody in their right fucking mind believes Dallas is America's team.
okay. So
Dallas,
let's shift. Let's
Dallas
shift.
is barely a team.
Let's shift then. Let's shift to all these coaching moves and everything that have been happening, and just start with Dallas and who they just hired to be their new coach, Schottenheimer. And I ain't talking about Marty.
Mm.
Ooh, are you happy with this move, this hire?
How many
Um,
people were knocking down the door to get Schottenheimer?
shoddy, shoddy. Um, I'm not I'm not mad at the hire
Mm.
per se because I don't think that he's he's if you ever hear him talk, he talks football really well, play design, like he's the son of a coach. He's been in the system forever and a day.
Mhm.
Comparisons to
Um,
compared to Kyle Shanahan.
If they think that's about to be how this rolls out.
Yeah.
um and again, it was the but what pissed me off, and I think what is pissing fans off in general was the process. It was a sham of a coaching search. You guys didn't reach out to any of the top guys, right? Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn used to be a Cowboy, right? So
For a hot second. Yeah.
Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Liam, what's the name?
Cohen.
Cohen
Mhm.
from Tampa Bay, right? You could have Cliff Kingsbury.
You think
Like
Kingsbury will get another shot?
hell yeah,
Okay.
hell yeah. With the way that with the way that Kingsbury's coaching, with the way that Kingsbury is coaching Jaden Daniels, and the
Mhm.
way that what's the Mighty Mouse over in Arizona, the quarterback in
Uh,
Arizona,
Murray,
Oh, he's
Kyler
talking about
Murray.
Kyler
Kyler
Murray.
Murray, and the way Kyler Murray looks now, and the fact that he couldn't. There were so many plays where he could not get on the same page with a stud wide receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. Like it wasn't Cliff Kingsbury, it was Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray was the problem. He was the problem. Bro really sabotaged Cliff Kingsbury's career. And the only reason Cliff Kingsbury ain't tripping is because he's still getting paid by Arizona all the money they owe him. So he like, I can kick it for a minute. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But um, they didn't reach out to anybody. They did it in house. It was like, we did the Rooney Rule thing, which was we hollered at um,
Bring that nigga in here.
we hollered at Leslie Frazier. We hollered at Leslie Frazier. We hollered at Robert Sala. And
Mm.
now, um, now we can go in and go talk to Schottenheimer and and make it happen. Engineer said you thought we were bringing Deion Sanders long shot, but I thought he would have been awesome. He would have been awesome. And the reason that the Cowboys were never in the hunt for Deion Sanders, were never in the hunt for Bill Belichick, was because Jerry would have had to pay them out of their current contract. I think he would have had to pay Colorado $8 million to get Deion Sanders,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, to buy him
would
out.
have to pay North Carolina $10 million to get Belichick. And then guess what? When you bring them in, they're not coming in for pennies.
No, no, not at
You're
all.
gonna have to
Not at
make
all.
them one of the
Not at
highest
all.
paid. You're gonna have to make them one of the highest paid head coaches in the NFL.
Belichick's done with the NFL, man.
He
Bel-
would have stuck around, but he knew Dallas was gonna try and lowball him.
Belichick's already got it set up with North Carolina to when he retires, his son is the successor.
Yeah.
They like, yeah, he's got him in there.
Hey, to engineer's point, Jerry Money don't grow on trees, Jones. I believe so. I think the Cowboys are cash strapped. There's a reason that the Cowboys never go out and sign free agents. They build from the draft. They run their players through the ringer every time they come up for contract negotiation. Like it's wash, rinse, repeat, right? And
Hmm.
it's a tired song, but Jerry's money. Jerry, I would compare him to the Bus family. Jerry has, they have other businesses and other little things they do, but their primary business, Jerry's primary business is the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Just like the Bus family is the Lakers,
man.
right?
But the Bus family's trying to win.
They're trying to win exactly. And I think Jerry also is trying to win. He just wants to win his way. His ego's so big that he wants to win his way. He wants to have say so.
What way is that? We 30 years in. What are we talking about at this point?
He wants to have his finger on the button. He wants to have his finger on the pulse, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like that, and that's really what it comes down to. I was reading something earlier about with Ed Werder where he was talking about how Jimmy Johnson
Hmm.
and Jerry had a business agreement where they were where Jimmy said, "I'll take care of the football side, Jerry, you take care of the business side." After they won the Super Bowls, Jerry came back and said he was going to renegotiate the contract.
Hmm.
He was going to pay Jimmy Johnson more money, but he
Hmm.
wanted more control of the
The
football side,
football
player
side.
personnel, and Jimmy Johnson said, "I'm not signing that contract."
Yeah,
And it was the downfall ever since.
yeah.
It was the downfall was the downfall came shortly thereafter. Ego is a hell of a drug, engineer. Like
Absolutely.
so, I was not surprised. Think about Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, everything he does, he wants to be front page news. He wants to upstage the damn NFC Championship game. He wants to upstage the AFC Championship game. He released the news of the hire Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, where all like the Stephen A. Smiths, the Colin
Yeah,
Cowherds, the Nick Wrights, like all the main media is gone for the day.
absolutely.
And when
Gotta
they
wait till
come
Monday,
back
baby.
and get
Gotta
listen, and when they come back on Monday, what they gonna be talking about?
the Jerry Jones hire.
No, they're gonna be talking about the Chiefs and the Eagles.
They're also gonna be talking about the Jerry Jones hire.
Nah, but we good.
Yeah, yeah.
A is giving it a couple of days to kind of just simmer down. So now we have fresh topics. Cowboys maybe.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
They'll talk about the Cowboys, but it won't be the main thing.
Hmm.
Chiefs dynasty easy three-peat.
I don't think so.
Wow. Wow.
You
Wow.
you know
Wow.
the last major sports team to three-peat, right?
Lakers.
Absolutely. The Los Angeles Lakers.
Hey,
Absolutely. I don't
Chiefs.
I don't think the Chiefs win. You got to stop the run. They got a good defense, but you got to stop the run.
Hey, I'll put it to you like this: the Chiefs have already done what a lot of teams couldn't do. Right? They're the first team to win back-to-back Super Bowls and make it to a third.
Yeah.
So whether they win or they don't win, they've already made history. This
Yes.
is not of Patrick Mahomes' five teams that made it to the Super Bowl. Right? This is his fifth trip to the Super Bowl. This is not his best team. I would say this is probably besides I mean, shit, he won with the team he won with his last Super Bowl last year. Um, this is probably his worst team.
Yeah.
This is his worst team. This is his worst team. So I just the, he's gonna find a way. I don't know if Saquon can go for 250 or 300 yards. If he can, great. But I think the Chiefs defense is going to force Jalen Hurts to beat him, and we'll see what happens. You know,
I'm picking Philly. I got Philly winning the Super Bowl, and it's a shame because Jason Kelsey retired. Could have got him a Super Bowl ring.
He got one.
I mean, he could have got another one. he,
He doesn't seem like he's the type to, you know, where that really matters. He got one. He's good. He's in the game.
I
Um,
th- I think it would sting anybody if you retired and then the very next year after you retired, your team went back and won right after you retired. I think that
uh,
stinks.
yeah, it sucks,
Yeah, like that,
but
like that. That's
it it,
got to sting.
it stings if you've never won one, right? Like if you came a year
Oh,
too late to a
that
Super
that
Bowl party.
that's not even sting. That hurts. Like the sting is, but the
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, that's death.
but but anyway, we'll definitely we have a week now to kind of talk about the Chiefs and the Eagles in that matchup.
Yeah.
Um, you know, but Carlos, you said regular season alone. Who y'all picking for next Super Bowl? Man, Carlos, we got to get through this one first. We got to get through this Super Bowl first before we start talking about next year.
Can y'all
Shit,
hear me
everybody,
now?
Yeah, we
yeah,
hear
we
you.
hear you.
Yeah,
Man, y'all didn't know
Everybody's team
I
is
was
live.
I saw the
knocked off the
text.
screen for a minute,
Yeah,
man.
no, I saw the text and everything.
Dang. All right,
Yeah.
back in the building. I'm glad y'all kept the party going.
Oh,
Um
like who? Oh, who wins this Super Bowl? I'm going with Kansas City.
I'm going with Philly.
ooh. I'll go with Philly.
Hey, let me let y'all know something real quick. We all did our Super Bowl pick, or who would we all did our picks for this week's game last week. Engineer, you were in the building. Kev, who are your picks again? Remind us.
I really dodged that. I was doing a lot of and then nodding. I didn't say
Uh,
anything.
oh, you did. You gave us teams
Who
because I know
who
you
did who
have.
did he say?
I
Ah.
think he had what? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
oh no, no, I did say Washington. You're right. You're right.
yeah.
I
You
didn't
said what?
I did say Washington.
I
I
didn't
did say
say
Washington.
Washington.
Yeah, I did say Washington.
Buffalo.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
said Buffalo and Philly. The
yeah.
MVP. And
Oh,
no,
Cuz I
Kev, you said Washington. I think
yeah.
you said
yeah,
KC and Washington.
yeah. I said
Yeah.
Washington. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I
Yeah,
told y'all.
I said
I
I
did say
wouldn't be
Washington.
surprised if Washington won, but if I was a betting man, I had to put the house on it, I'm going with Philly. Um Going for a Philly sweep. Y'all
Hey,
No, 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 no. I don't think Ubon's picking Philly.
I'll never pick Philly.
Ubon
Hey,
said Kansas City, Carlos.
hey, check this out. I am a Patrick Mahomes fan by virtue of the Dallas Cowboys. Patrick Mahomes has beat Philly in the Super Bowl. He's beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl twice. Um, he is a Cowboys cousin. He's a relative. If you're a Cowboys fan, you root for Kansas City because they knock off all these NFC teams that are lining up ready to talk shit. So I'm definitely rooting for Kansas City next in 2 weeks, and I think Mahomes is the Michael Jordan of the NFL. At least this era's Michael Jordan, and a lot of guys that are in the AFC right now wish they could be in the NFC just to be able to get there because he's going to stop Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow,
Damn.
anybody else you could name that you could think of, CJ Stroud, or any young talent over the next 5 years, Patrick
So
Mahomes will continue to be the guy that represents in the AFC. He's
so
been to seven
Carlos,
straight AFCs.
I'm assuming you have Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And engineer, if you still in the building, who do you have? And I know who Chiefs Dynasty has.
I'm just I'm,
I'm just curious.
I'm saying, did y'all hear what I said? Mahomes, I believe, if the status correct, has been to seven straight AFC
Hmm.
championship games.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, objectively, he thinks it's Kansas City. If oh man, I don't know. I think Saquon Barkley is an X factor, man.
That's what I said. It's the running game.
I just think he's an
It's,
X factor.
it's the running.
I got to see though, because like you say, one thing that Ubong said when we were talking about when I because I was going for Baltimore out of the teams that were left. My squad is actually the Cowboys, like Bong. I'm a Cowboys fan, but they ain't sniffed the playoffs since, like we say, but what, 95? So much shit has happened since then. Um so I was saying Baltimore, but Ubong, you made a point and said that Kansas City could possibly force Lamar Jackson to like go through his reads, go through his progressions, make some passes, stuff like that. They may do the same thing to Hurts. And I don't think Hurts will do that as well as Jackson would, right? So if they're able to somehow cap Saquon Barkley, mm, it could kind of get ugly.
And let me be clear. The only advantage Kansas City has over Philly, if we're just checking box to box, is quarterback. I think Philly's defense is better than Kansas City's. I think Philly's skill players are definitely better than Kansas City. They got Pacheco. They leaned on Kareem Hunt,
Yeah.
Who's been running better than Pacheco? I know Pacheco's coming off the injury, but
but he's still not great. He ran what? So Kareem Hunt ran for today. Shit.
It
Let me
wasn't
see.
much.
No, his average was like 3.8. Yeah, 3.8. 17 carries for 64 yards and a touchdown, 3.8 yards per touch. Compare that to James Cook, 6.5 yards per touch.
Yeah.
Like
which
they're
which goes back, man. Don't even make me start thinking about that shit again. God damn. Which goes back to why would you not? Why would you not draw up more shit to put the ball in his hands, man? Pause.
you know what? And to engineer's point, engineer said Kansas City's secret weapon is Andy Reid. I'll give him when we're talking about on the field. I'm giving it to every position. I'm gonna go Philly except for the quarterback. When it comes to coaching, I think defensive coordinator is a wash. Vic Fangio versus Steve Spagnuolo, and I think Andy Reid is. I mean, he's come on,
That stands
Kellen
alone.
Kellen
Andy Reid
Moore or
stands
Andy
alone.
Reid, Kellen Moore or what's Nick Sirianni or Andy Reid, But again, they don't have the skill players. Sometimes what's that? Jimmy's and Joe's.
Yeah, it ain't the
X's
X's and
and O's.
O's, it's your
Jimmy
Jimmys
and
and Joes.
I mean, Saquon
Yeah,
is
but again, though, I think Kansas City has enough though. You were even mentioning the weapons coming back for Mahomes and all of that stuff. Like they have enough. And in the scheme, I think their scheme is just better at the end of the day. So I agree. Like the secret weapon is Andy Reid. Kansas City scheme is just better.
hey Carlos. Carlos? Are you a San Francisco fan? He said, "What's the main difference between San Francisco last year and San Francisco? The running game. Yeah, they missed CMC. CMC was
Yeah.
out this year, and it hurt because they had a majority of the rest of their guys. And even when Brandon Ayuk went down because he held out a lot during training camp, um, what's the
Does
guy
it
with the red hair? The guy with the red hair came in and took his place.
does it have anything to do also with what you're
Jennings.
saying?
Jennings.
Does it have anything to do with also what you're saying is going to happen to Jaden Daniels as far as Brock Purdy? That
What?
that
Like
people have seen him more. They know more of his tendencies. They can prep and adjust to what he does and how he
no,
plays the game. Like
no.
because
Jaden Daniels is better than Brock Purdy.
correct, but you're saying
Hmm.
this is just, like we were saying, strike while the iron is hot. Like he's
Yeah.
just playing. You don't, you haven't really next year when they go to this offseason and start watching tape of Jaden Daniels and all this stuff, I'm pretty sure they'll be game planning for him differently. Do
Yeah.
you think that happened with Brock Purdy also? You think
No, I think
okay.
Brock Purdy was missing what made their offense dynamic, which was CMC. Brock Purdy still had all the rest of his skill guys, and I think if he had CMC, they would have been a playoff team. But it
Okay.
negated it negated what he was because he didn't have CMC, right? Keep it so.
But I
Just
mean, without
that
but
with
that means they couldn't even use Debo like that handicaps and cripples Debo Samuel. You can't
absolutely, because Debo Samuels gets his stuff off of Christian McCaffrey, right? So they they need it all to work together. Now you're just trying to line Debo up in the in the backfield, and we know it's going to him. It's not the same as a little misdirection, pitch it this fake pitch it this way to Christian McCaffrey, slip Debo, coming out the other side. Now Debo's running 60 yards up the field, right? Everybody needed Christian McCaffrey in that offense to make it go. They had skilled players. They still had Kittle. They still had Debo. They still had a good running back, right?
yeah, so to me, that's what I'm saying. That's
And it
crazy
was
to
Juwan
me.
Jennings. It was Juwan Jennings that stepped up for
Yeah,
Brandon Knight.
Jennings
Yeah.
stepped up. Yeah, I'm
Huge.
just saying it's crazy. It's crazy. Like I know he's dynamic, but it's crazy how they're like San Francisco's loaded. They got this, and
Yeah.
this, and then he's out, and it's like they just falter. They can't even make a wild card game.
Nah, he couldn't even make the playoffs.
Carlos Carlos took
Exactly, a wild card game. That's what I'm saying. Like you can't even get in.
Ooh, Carlos talking spicy in the chat.
We took the best shit
Oh,
from San Francisco, and that
he's
was McDaniels.
Carlos is a Miami fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, since we talking about the coaches and everything, the Jets would be. I don't know if y'all got on the Jets when I was out, right?
we did not. We
We
talked
didn't.
Okay,
about
so
Dallas.
we talked about that, but the Jets they got Glenn, but you know who's going back to San Francisco?
Who's
Because he's
that?
talking about who they took out of San Francisco.
Robert Saleh
Robert Sala's going back to San Francisco
as
as
a
the
DC.
DC.
Mm.
It's crazy. But yeah, I mean McDaniels is one of those football minds,
And,
creative and can make some shit happen. So I like his scheme and stuff. He just needs the
and
weapons.
How creative was he when he didn't have that quarterback?
but I mean, how many
I,
people are?
Yeah.
that's like I say, that's the most important position. What I was saying, if you're the head coach, that's the position you don't really want to mess with.
My man Huntley was looking like, ugh.
But again,
Oh,
that
Carlos, what is Carlos talking to engineers saying what does Ayuk even do? I think Ayuk is a beast, man.
prior to last year.
Yeah. I mean, well, he got hurt early.
So I'll say this about Miami. Miami didn't do a good job of understanding that Tua is injury prone and getting a legitimate backup quarterback in there that could win games. Like, shout out to Snoop Huntley. I think he actually made a Pro Bowl one year when a bunch of people got hurt, and he was that year that
Like
the
Teddy
year before
Bridgewater.
the year before Lamar Jackson, the summer before
Okay.
Lamar Jackson went and negotiated his contract.
Yeah.
He got hurt, remember? And he was like, "Hey man, I don't have any guarantees next year." So
Mm-hmm.
Lamar was like, "Nah, I'm not coming back early. I'm not doing any of this." So
I
Snoop
remember that.
Huntley ended up playing maybe like 10, 11 games, and he got a Pro Bowl under his belt.
He
Mm-hmm.
That
was
Pro
he
Bowl,
was built more for that system though.
that Pro Bowl don't mean shit. Snoop Huntley should not be a backup in Miami. He was not a legitimate backup quarterback. They should have done more, especially knowing Tua's injury history. That's neither here nor there. I don't even want to talk about them because they didn't make the playoffs. Tyreek Hill is complaining now.
Like he
He
want to get
wants
up out of there. No, he'll probably get up out of there. Tyreek Hill is on that wags to riches shit on Netflix, worried about jumping in them parties and kicking it with his wife and the homegirl.
Exactly. But let's see who. I think if you put Tyreek Hill in, um, they're probably not going to send him to an AFC team, so it'll probably end up in the NFC if they do trade him. Uh, you put him down there with a young Jaden Daniels to complement Terry McLaurin, or you put him in
Mm.
San Francisco. Probably can't afford him. You put him in one of these young quarterbacks. I mean, he can really do damage. I think he would be great in Dallas, but we know that Jerry can't afford him. So like that's a but I promise you he will be linked to Dallas just for the storylines, right? And Jerry can spin that to create valuation for the team because we're talked about all summer. But a few of the other coaching
Wait,
hires that
wait. Because it was something that you before we go on. I know I only brought up the Jets because I think it was Carlos said something about McDaniels being poached from Frisco, and I knew that Salah was going back, so I brought that up. But you sent us a video, and it was a playmaker, Michael Irvin, discussing his take on the Dallas Cowboys coaching decision.
yes.
Now, did
Yes.
did you agree with some of the stuff he was saying? I wanted to mention it a little while ago because he made a point about America's team, and he actually was saying that it should be the
It,
Chiefs.
it, 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 there's no way that anybody. I have kids. My kids don't even know what it feels like to make to make a deep playoff run with their team. And I'm telling them, I'm locked in for life.
Yeah.
Mm.
I can't go anywhere. I'm stuck. You guys are young enough that you can defect right now. Just go. I won't hold it against you because it's that embarrassing as a franchise.
Yeah.
But Michael Irvin said some things. He pointed out some things where he talked about the culture and how promoting somebody in house it kind of makes it so that they can't really do what they want to do as opposed to bringing somebody in from the outside who has no connections with the team and can crack the whip and clean up the culture, right? He said they currently don't have any curfew, right?
Mhm.
If they have a game on Sunday and they have to be at the airport or they have to meet to catch a flight at a certain time, it's just meet you there. He said the way it used to be was the night before the team gets together, they go over some plays, everybody goes to the hotel,
Mhm.
everybody's in the same setting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like we had structure and it allowed us to hold each other accountable, but there's no accountability. There's no structure. It's a country club.
Mm.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
also
Yeah. Yeah.
he also talked about if
Carlos,
Schottenheimer
we gonna get to that question, Carlos, real quick. But go ahead. Finish that.
Schottenheimer comes in and a lot of people have spoken highly of him and giving him that nod that's like, okay, here, you know, we want you. He can't come in and start cracking the whip and start finding players for penalties. They said the Dallas was the fourth most penalized team in the league this year. He can't come in and start cracking the whip because then people are going to be like, "Hey man, we vouched for you. We brought you in. We wanted you in here, and now you trying to turn on us." Like it's just it's rotten. The culture is rotten from the inside out, from the top down.
Mm.
So like nobody can succeed. I guarantee you, and I will go to my grave saying this. If Patrick Mahomes was drafted to the Dallas Cowboys under Jason Garrett, who was the head coach at the time, and whatever came after that, he would be ringless and he would not be the Patrick Mahomes that we know right now. And everybody in the world would be calling him a bum and saying that he can't win the big game.
Well, that speaks to engineer's point of Andy Reid being the secret weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but okay. So just to clearly get to this that Carlos is asking, his question: what makes the Super Bowl different than the last Super Bowl for Kansas City? Man, I mean, when you start thinking about it,
Yeah. Given the fact that both teams have running games,
yeah.
dynamic running
If you're
backs, nice
saying
receiver core.
if you're like CMC is. if you're saying Saquon Barkley is the CMC for Philly.
I think
Um,
I think
hmm.
Saquon Barkley is a little bit more dynamic than CMC. Like Saquon is more likely to break off a 70-yarder than CMC
on
was
the
last
run,
year.
on the run.
On the
But I
yeah,
think
on the
I think CMC was a better receiving running back than Saquon.
Well,
no,
they don't really
they just
throw to
used him right.
Saquon.
They
Yeah.
just used him as
Exactly.
that. No.
Yeah.
They
Well,
could,
you can't really tell. They don't throw to him.
but they don't have to. I think Saquon's slightly more dynamic, but if you think about it from the way um, Carlos is saying it, everything else,
Hmm.
Because
I think San Francisco.
San Francisco's defense was supposed to be,
Pretty
one of
good.
them ones, and now
I
it's
thought,
Philly
but
is one of
but
them ones.
I thought that San Francisco had a chance to win last year. I thought
They
that they
did.
could have.
Hey, guess what happened?
Patrick Mahomes down the stretch.
That's it.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes happened. Like if there's any situation but all that stuff plays into it. So when we see Philadelphia and Kansas City line up in the Super Bowl, if there's anything where it's 50-50, we have to think about it. We have to take our shot right here because we don't want the ball back in Patrick Mahomes' hand. You're already overthinking whatever it is because you're probably not going to do what you normally would do. They've already gotten into your head because they have the mystique, they have the aura of, hey man, we can't let Patrick Mahomes get the ball last. San
So
Francisco basically, remember, they got the ball in overtime. They scored a field goal. Some
Yeah.
people are saying they didn't even know what the overtime rules were.
That's
Kansas City gets
ridiculous.
so what's the
Kansas City gets the ball back.
what's the difference? What is the difference? Because he didn't
There's,
ask us about 3 times, and I'm like, yeah,
I
what
don't.
is the difference? I'm asking myself now. Shit, is it really a true difference?
Besides Saquon being slightly more dynamic than CMC, I think uh, I think
I think overall Philly.
San Francisco had the better quarterback. I think the skill players, the receivers, because of that, are a wash. But I feel like Kansas City's team last year was better than their team this year.
So
I,
Brock Purdy's better, just
no,
clearly better than
uh,
Jalen Hurts to you.
I'm disagreeing with that. I think
I
that the difference is that Jalen Hurts can run and use his legs more than Brock Purdy can, and Jalen Hurts has the ability to break tackles and get into that end zone.
No, Brock Purdy.
oh,
I don't know
well,
if you
let me ask this: is Brock Purdy a system quarterback?
Yes,
Yes,
Is Jalen Hurts a system quarterback?
yes,
Who
yes,
runs their system better?
Jalen Hurts.
no.
It's geared toward the
I
run,
I
where
don't
Jalen
know.
Hurts is better in the
Brock
run.
Purdy, Brock Purdy, when all weapons are healthy, runs the system better than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts just has a dynamic running back in Saquon Barkley that is eliminate. We don't have to worry about whether Jalen Hurts is running the system correctly or not because Saquon is eliminating a lot of those questions. CMC was not asked to do what Saquon is doing right now.
You didn't have Saquon 2 years ago, and he still made it to the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Again,
Right.
in that Super
Yeah.
Bowl, listen to me. In that Super Bowl run, that was the year where the Giants beat Minnesota. So Philly had to bye. Just hear me out.
No, I hear you. I'm just like,
Philly had to bye. Jalen Hurts threw for about $150. They beat the Giants, who only scored about 10 points. The next week, they play San Francisco. San Francisco has CMC playing quarterback because Brock Purdy got hurt on the first play of the game. Do you remember that? So their road to
Yeah.
the Super Bowl was not the road less traveled. They took the road. Hey man, this is the interstate. This is I-95. This is PCH. Like this is,
yeah,
bro. Whatever it is, he didn't have to do much. He only had to. I told you, and outside of this game today, where he threw for like 250 yards.
yeah.
Jalen Hurts Every one of his playoff wins, he never threw for more than 160 yards, and his defense never gave up more than 14 points. He's Tell me, what is he doing? What is he
Okay.
doing?
Okay. So,
He's not blowing it.
right, like
you
Uban,
you could
this
still
is all I'm
blow it.
saying. This is all I'm saying. As much as we like, because earlier we were talking about, man, if you just, what is Jalen Hurts really doing except for getting his ass pushed in the end zone, like, when they get to the 5 or whatever, like, but that's part of their system, right? And it's not his fault that that's what he's called to do, and that's what he's asked to do. That's why I asked you, are both of them system quarterbacks? If the answer is yes, okay, who runs the system better? Okay, so we got down to that. Okay, which one is more dynamic? Because then that's going to really, I guess, which system is more dynamic? Because that's what would answer what's the difference between this Super Bowl and last Super Bowl for
Because
Kansas City.
this is what I'm telling you. I was literally answering the question. Brock Purdy ran his system better. I know so because Jalen Hurts is running a different system. Kellen Moore is a first year offensive coordinator for Philadelphia. He's not even running the same system that he ran 2 years ago. So we know Brock Purdy is running the same system that Jimmy G took to the Super Bowl. So that system, hold on, Kev, let me cook.
No, no, no.
Are,
That system,
are you cooking? Who said you? No,
Yeah.
I'm fucking with
Come
you. Go ahead, man.
but Jimmy G took the 49ers to a Super Bowl with the same system. They said, you know what? We can do it with another quarterback, plug Brock Purdy in, and he took a team to the Super Bowl. And I think that he possibly would have taken them to the Super Bowl that Jalen Hurts' first Super Bowl had he not tore his UCL or whatever. I think he something with his shoulder.
No, no, I hear you, but I'm saying, and I know you brought up the point about Kellen Moore, but isn't that what an OC is supposed to do? You're supposed to come in and build your system around the talent you have. This is what we do. We know we now have Saquon Barkley, and we got Jalen Hurts. This is how we're rolling. We don't. In other words, we're not asking you to be,
You don't have to put the cape
Superman,
on.
like you
You don't, yeah,
said,
you don't have to
Uban. We're
put the
not
cape on.
asking you to be Superman.
Yeah, yeah.
Do
So,
But y'all also
I mean,
asked
do
me
they
who
ask?
ran the
I would
system
say,
better.
So is no, no,
and
no. But I'm
so,
saying, is Brock Purdy Superman? Neither one of them are. So
so what I would
we're
say to you is this: in the last 16 games, the last 16, Philly has won 15. The one game that they lost, what happened? Jalen Hurts got a concussion and couldn't play. He only played a few minutes, and they lost. That was the one thing. So we're talking about systems. We're talking about who everybody else was there, but you didn't have Jalen Hurts. So you need that man to run that system. Yes, the system is built on the run, but Jalen Hurts enhances it because he runs as well as a
I
quarterback.
listen. I think the question from Carlos is a very good question. The only difference I see, and I think Bong alluded to it. I don't know if we clearly stated it. I think San Francisco would attack more in the
On the air,
passing game.
in the air,
It's
yeah.
going to be a passing attack from San Francisco. With Philly, not so much. You're going to get the dink and dunks and stuff like that. He going to hit some people on short routes. He may try to hit AJ Brown going deep here and there, but I think it's mostly going to be what the ground game does, and then we try to hit you with a pass here and there. Whereas San Francisco was more like the West Coast offense, get it out quick, pass it around, shit like that, spread the ball around. I don't think I think it's a lot of similarities though. So when it boils down to it, running back wise and all that kind of shit, like it's a very similar situation that Kansas City might, when you break it down like that, Kansas City might be in the driver's seat to be, three-peating, but I'm still go with Philly.
Nah, that's good stuff.
Uh, I just read what engineer said. You got a buddy in the chat, huh? Hey,
Yes,
but
indeed.
engineer, we appreciate you showing up, man.
Absolutely.
Showing up and showing out. We got a few people in here, man. I only see a couple people mentioning some shit, but we got some other folks in here, man. Hey, just say y'all piece, man. We talk back. You know
Absolutely.
what
Yeah,
I'm saying? We
absolutely.
we talk back and we respect whoever, says some shit. As y'all can see, if you say something, we not just gonna be like fuck out of here type shit. Like we gonna try to get to
Yeah,
what you getting to. Carlos, I know it took us we were circling that wagon about 3-4 times before we actually addressed your question, but we. Oh
yeah,
man, and Carlos says he happy he found us on his feed, man. Man, appreciate you jumping in
absolutely,
here, man. Hopefully we see
absolutely,
you down the line again. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely, 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 man. Nah, this was cool, man. So, I mean, we'll definitely be back next week, kind of prepping for the Super Bowl. Um, you know, talking, and obviously Super Bowl week. I think it's the Pro Bowls next week too, right?
Yeah, I
I
think
never
they
watched.
I think they do they do it the week before the Super Bowl? Yeah.
I
I
never
think it's
watched
the
Pro
weekend
Bowl.
before.
So and
Yeah.
then you have the NFL honor. So we'll get to MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, all that good stuff. Is all going to be next week. So we'll have some football stuff to talk about in
Absolutely.
preparation for the Super Bowl. But and I shouldn't have gave my pick this early, but I again
Hey,
I've already said it, man.
I
Like
was trying to ask your ass a while ago. Remember where you was like,
I
I'm
can't
not
commit.
willing to commit to that.
I ain't committing. No commitment. No
Hey
commitment.
man, I hope y'all like basketball and shit too. I see y'all like to talk football. We gonna talk some basketball and shit on here too. So
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
Yeah.
just So anyway, but
Yeah.
appreciate y'all rocking with us, man.
Indeed. Indeed.
You can speak about the draft, free agency, unless you want to wait on that. We'll
We're gonna get to that.
we actually talked about that engineer the other day. We got some stuff about that too.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely
Oh, look, engineer, were you born in Texas, man?
Oh, he's a Houston guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
through and
like
through.
them Rockets. All right, man.
yeah, nah, for sure.
Okay.
But
All right.
draft season for sure, for sure. We'll definitely have some shit to talk about. But man, appreciate y'all fucking with us, man. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? On the
He
late
said,
night.
engineer said, yeah, from Texas all the way through. All right,
Indeed,
respect
indeed,
it. All
for
right,
sure.
respect to you too, Carlos. Appreciate y'all, man. We out of here.
Absolutely.
All
Oh,
right.
he's from
Yeah.
Brazil.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
For
Oh,
sure.
Oh,
wow.
that's what's up.
Yes,
Wow.
indeed. Yes, indeed. Man.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Carlos, I gotta ask before I go, man. I studied a little bit of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, man. Are you into MMA and stuff out there?
I thought you was going somewhere else with this. I'm like, I'm
Me
What?
married
too.
man.
I said it's a family.
Oh no, no, no.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask
Hey
about the
man.
ladies, but hey,
Hey
It's
look,
a family
I
show.
hey, look, I can't ask him because I don't know. Carlos might be married. I can't,
Right.
I can't get
man.
him in the.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So yeah, we can get into that too. But all right, man. Well, shoot, we ain't gonna hold y'all. Look, we ain't gonna hold y'all. Appreciate y'all, man. We out for real this
Indeed.
time. Holla at
Indeed.
y'all.
Indeed.
Peace.
All right.